What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm focusing on the part 2 of the transmission prep for my K24 engine swap into the Subaru BRZ. And the first thing I'm going to be doing is draining the old transmission fluid by removing the H10 hex bolt from the underside of the engine. My preferred gear oil of choice is the Royal Purple 75W90. This is a GL4 rated gear oil and it does not have any chemicals in it that would compromise the synchronizers inside of the gear set. Now, the owner's manual claims that you only need 3.1 quarts of gear oil for this transmission, but from the research I did online, it seemed like most people needed closer to 3 1/4 or maybe even 3 1/3 quarts to get their transmission completely full. And once the fluids are topped up, we'll just get the fill and drain plugs put back in and tightened down. Next, we're going to focus on replacing our throwout bearing and our old rusty clutch fork. And we're going to do that simply by pulling on the bearing until it slides off of the front of the input shaft. Taking a look at the old throwout bearing, you can see why I wanted to replace this thing. This thing is gunked up, rusted up, and you just don't want this inside of a transmission that you expect to run for quite a long time. And a look at the old clutch fork as well. Again, you can see this thing is just, it looks like garbage. I mean, who knows how long it's been in there. The end of it that was exposed to the elements is rusted to hell, and so it just makes the most sense to replace these things. I'm also going to replace the clutch fork pivot ball by just hitting it with a little bit of PB Blaster and then using a 19mm wrench to get this thing pulled out. And here's a closer look at this old piece of junk. Don't need that anymore. All of the replacement parts I'm using are from Z1 Motorsports. I'll have a link down in the description if you guys need this or if you want to check it out. It comes with a new pivot ball and you can even get it in chromoly, and it also comes with new springs for the bearing as well as the clutch fork itself. Now for this pivot ball, I am going to be using just a little bit of this blue Loctite, and then once I get it inserted, I'm going to torque it down to 29 foot-pounds. Next up, I'm going to be installing the new spring into the clutch fork itself. I'm just going to use a pair of needle nose pliers and compress the ends of it together so that I can slip this into place. Once you have the wings of the spring clipped in, make sure that the tip of the spring itself is pointing face up towards the end of the fork and simply push it straight down into that gap. Next, we're going to look at the rubber boot for the clutch fork, and as you can see, it is solid all the way through. So I'm just going to take a razor to it and get that gap cut out. Now I can't even think about putting the new bearing on here until I clean off this input shaft. I'm just going to use some brake cleaner and some shop towels. Some red Scotch-Brite would also do wonders here because you don't want any sort of interference between the inside collar of the bearing and the outside surface of this input shaft. So you want to make sure that you get this thing as clean as you possibly can. Now we can take a look at our new throwout bearing. Again, all of these parts came from the package from Z1 Motorsports, and you can see how the collar piece will slip into the inside surface of that throwout bearing. I'm going to start by applying some grease to the outside surface of this shaft just to make for easier installation. And you're going to want to run down to your local auto parts store to pick up a short section of this exhaust pipe that is 1 3/4 inch ID, that's inside diameter. And the reason that you want that is because of the fact that it will slip right down into the gap on this throwout bearing, right here in the middle. You don't want to make any contact on the outside surface of this bearing because that surface is critical. That's what touches your pressure plate and actually actuates the clutch itself. Now I'm going to take the bearing, mount it right on top of the sleeve and this small section of exhaust on top of that. I'm going to use a small piece of wood just to try and keep things level as we sort of tap it down in. And I'm going to be checking periodically as I go along just to make sure that everything's going down center and not getting all wonky on me. Once you have the bearing seated all the way down, you'll see it looks like this, and you can see that the sleeve has come all the way up through the top. Now what I'm going to do is just go in with some towels and try and clean up some of this grease that still remains on the surface. Now I can get the new retainer spring put onto the retainer. I'm just going to get this guy cut out of the plastic, and we want to make sure that this spring goes inside of this groove on the back side of the retainer, and we want to make sure that the ears on either side go over top of the tabs on the retainer body. And the fork has these 2 grooves at the top that will clip onto the ears on this retainer spring. But before I can do that, I need to apply a little bit more grease onto these 2 tabs on the retainer so that the fork can slide across them smoothly. And with that done, I can take the 2 grooves on the top of the fork, clip them onto the flat sections of the retainer spring, and then simply rotate this piece around, and that is what is going to hold these 2 pieces together. Now the last thing to do is to apply some grease to this input shaft, and you want to be careful that you don't get any of this on the splines of this shaft. You just want it here around the collar that the bearing surface is going to be sliding against. And with that, I can slip the clutch fork through the rubber boot and get the bearing pushed on over top of the shaft. Now you want to make sure that there's no extra noise or grinding or roughness as the bearing is sliding across the top of this shaft. And if that is the case, you want to make sure that you go back, do more cleaning, reapply your grease, and then reinsert your bearing. And lastly, we are going to press the clutch fork onto the pivot ball that's back there. If you recall, we installed the spring into the clutch previously, so we want to make sure that that is basically wrapped around the pivot ball on the back side. Get it close, press this straight in. There we go. Now the last thing I'm going to do to wrap up this job is to get the OEM replacement slave cylinder put in place. There is a very small cylinder inside of here that you want to make sure goes into the small divot right here on the outside of the clutch fork. And because of the fact that this transmission did not come with the hardware when I got it, I'm using these M8 by 1.25 bolts that are 35 millimeters long. So I'm going to get the piston inserted onto the clutch fork here, and I'm going to insert my hardware, torque these 2 bolts down to 17 foot-pounds each, and that is pretty much going to wrap up this refresh. And that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. The next video is going to be bolting our transmission onto our K24 engine, and that's going to require a little bit of modification to the stock K24 starter because of the mounting position. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with the build and all the other content on the channel. And until next time, build your dreams.